There we go.
Good afternoon, friends. Again, my name is Ian Reed, and we are here at MOSI, and so we're starting Environmental Week, and so today we're going to discuss a little bit about ocean acidification and photosynthesis. This is a concern to scientists because we believe that our oceans, due to a lot of carbon dioxide and hydrogen being absorbed, is actually leading to the ocean actually becoming more acidic. So let's look at a definition. So ocean acidification, a direct chemical change to global ocean chemistry in response to rising levels of atmospheric carbon dioxide. That comes from climateinterpreter.org. So if you recall what Ms. Janet, I believe it was last week, she talked about physical and chemical changes. So this is a direct chemical change, as was discussed last week. All right, and this has to do with what we call the carbon cycle. So what is that? So we breathe, animals breathe, plants use photosynthesis, and they use CO2, the carbon dioxide that we exhale, to help them with this process. And so for the longest time, there was actual natural kind of balance. So using the photosynthesis, trees using it, carbon escaping to the air was not too much. It wasn't kind of a burden. And plus, the oceans also helped by absorbing it. That wasn't until what we call the Industrial Revolution, where we started getting plants and factories, and they started pumping out more, which is now leading to the excess CO2 that's in our atmosphere. All right, and that does bring some concern. All right. When it is absorbed by our oceans, you actually get an acid. It's called carbonic acid, and this happens when you have the air that we exhale out, carbon dioxide. Once it reacts with the water, you get something called carbonic acid. So CO2 reacting with H2O, you get H2CO3. All right. Now, this also breaks down. All right, so the carbonic acid breaks down into a hydrogen ion and they call it bicarbonate. All right, so with all of these hydrogen ions being absorbed, all right, by the water, what decreases is what we call the pH. So when the pH gets lower, it acidifies the ocean. And so there is a way, and there is an activity that we can do. So here, believe it or not, we love cabbage juice. And so what we have here is diluted cabbage juice. We have baking soda, sodium bicarbonate, and we have these 2 cups and some vinegar. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour in this. So we diluted it so that it would look blue, kind of like our ocean. We also have some duct tape. So what I've done is I have a teaspoon of baking soda here, and I'm going to tape it inside of one of our cups here. Okay, and then I'm going to add some vinegar, which we all know is acidic. And I'm going to add it to this cup. And I'm going to face the top. Okay. All right. Now, the cup on my right and your left here is going to represent what happens when the ocean acidifies. And then this is just going to be our regular ocean cup. So this is what we call a control. So this is what we want the oceans to look like. And this is what's going to happen here is because we've covered this cup and it has the baking soda, vinegar, we've kind of created a lot of CO2, and we should notice a change. We should let that go for a moment. So as I said, since we have all this carbon, what's been helping us out has been plants, because plants use the process of photosynthesis. All right, and so what photosynthesis is the organic synthesis of carbohydrate sugars from light energy other inorganic compounds. So to break this word down, photo meaning light, and synthesis means it's a change. It's a process combining light and other parts of nature to help the plants to create their own food, okay? And because of this, plants have a special name. Plants are called autotrophs. So an autotroph is an organism that creates their own food through a process of self-feeding by producing energy-rich organic compounds. So plants actually create their own food. Auto means self. So they're able to create their nutrients and things that they need for themselves. All right? Since you and I are human, we are not autotrophs. We're actually, I think, a little different. Humans are heterotrophs. Heterotroph is an organism that can't produce our own food, instead taking nutrition from other sources, organic carbon, mainly plant and animal matter. We are consumers. So we can stand out in the light of the sun, get rained on, and we'll just be hot and wet. That's about it till water evaporates from us. We're not going to be able to produce our own food that way. So we go out to a store or to a farmer's market, and we go out and buy, rinse off, and we cook the food that we eat. So we are consumers, all right? Which is very important for photosynthesis. So for plants. Now, for this activity, this is what we call the spinach photosynthesis activity. So for this, this is basically baby spinach that I have taken a hole punch to. So I've hole punched 10 discs, and I've made a solution here from warm water, dish detergent, and baking soda. All right. And so what you have to use is a syringe. There's a way that you have to stick it in the syringe, pull the syringe back, and what we want the spinach disc to do is to absorb the carbon that's in here from the baking soda. All right, and so what I'm going to show you is with this. If I pour this in, all right, you'll notice that not all of the discs are coming up. However, I've been running this experiment, and I will show you this. So this has been running for quite a while, and notice what happened. All the discs are coming up, and that's because we've used incandescent bulb, this light. What happens is the light refracts through the water. Those discs had absorbed the carbon, so when it refracts through the water, it hits the disc, releasing the carbon, which causes the disc to come up. Now I have a different type of light. So this is like a regular incandescent light bulb here. I have a black light. Now notice from this light, not too many discs coming up there. All right. And it has to do with the type of light it is and how strong, how powerful that light is. So through refraction, again, refraction is when light goes through, it passes through a medium, we're able to get this. Now you can kind of see a little bit from our experiment right here. Believe it or not, there's a little bit of difference. It's starting to get a little purplish over here. This is remaining blue. And so again, what this is showing us, and it'll actually get even lighter as time goes on, what this is showing us is when the ocean absorbs the CO2 that we created from the vinegar and the baking soda, it acidifies. So that's going to change the color of this. And so if that's changing it, what does it mean for our friends that live in the ocean? So fish, like sharks, mammals like whales, what does that do? What harm could that cause? And so that's why it's very, very important that scientists go out and research and study this. Also, when it comes to just general pollution to our ocean, so we have to be very, very, very careful. Of course, during this time that we're in now, we're staying at home, we're doing what we're supposed to do, but once we're able to go out, let's think about once we are able to go out to the beaches and enjoy the water, that we want to be careful about polluting. We want to make sure we're throwing things away because we don't want to hurt the balance of our oceans. And so that's what we have for today. Do you have any questions? Okay. So join us tomorrow where Miss Catherine will be doing some great experiments dealing with erosion. So again, this is Environmental Week at MOSI. My name is Ian, and I'll be seeing you soon. So have a great day, friends, and remember to always keep discovering.